Good evening, everyone. Public Safety and Transportation Committee. Today's April 11th. We are at 6:31. We are going to start today's meeting, or at least we're going to try to begin it until roll call. I do not believe we have quorum yet, but we will start our procedures as such. Khalid, could you do this part?
Sure. Ground rules, no one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and wait till you're recognized. To raise your hand through Zoom, click the participants icon and you will find the raise hand function there. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next member to speak. Please keep your questions and comments brief and on topic to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have a question or comment about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized.
All right, we're gonna do a call to order, and that roll call, we will pause due to lack of quorum.
Okay, so committee members, as a reminder, there are 11 total members for this committee, 6 are needed for quorum. Jose Altamirano,
Present.
Stephanie Arroyo, Anthony Brown, Kenneth Crouch, Carlos Diaz.
Present.
Thank you.
Yeah, Charlie.
Wanda Hopkins.
This counts towards your attendance.
Present.
Thank you. Sage Mason, excuse. Claudia Perez. Don
John is present.
Don Sanders.
Present.
Thank you. Loretta Soul, excused. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Present.
Absent. No, she has some notes.
She submitted all right.
I'm here.
No, it's more a matter of submitting the note ahead of time. So we currently have 5 members present. We need
Was
one.
Wanda on or no?
Wanda is on, yes.
She also has that note.
Yes, she did.
So we have 5 present.
We have 5 present, 6 are needed for quorum. So
We need one more person.
you need one person. So you, at this point, you can move to go into recess and give it a 15-minute timer.
Okay, 15 minutes it is.
Okay, so we're moving into 15-minute recess and we'll wait for another member to.
Hey, Officer Powers.
How are you?
Don't have a meeting, I'm coming over.
Come on down.
Me and Charlie were walking over so. One of my drivers. Then put in like, he wants to put high ball on it, but he put high boots. In my boots.
Wait, recording?
Alright, we're good. Alright, sorry. We did our call to order. We did our adoption by omission.
Adoption of vehicle.
Same thing for both. Anyone against? Anyone not present? Anyone not voting? Alright. Thank you. Thank you. Right here. Yeah, now they're. Alright, on March 27th, 24, DOT announced that e-cargo bikes are now authorized for use on city streets. That established safety standards through new agency rules. E-cargo bikes will provide a more sustainable and safer option for deliveries by helping reduce the number of large delivery trucks needed worldwide. Instead, we'll have a whole bunch of bikes I can run with you over. The rule change adds pedal assisted bicycle to the legal definition of bicycle, defines commercial bicycle, the bicycle used to transport commercial goods. I guess we will inquire to the chair of DOT, Dennis Rodriguez, to see if they will be adding insurance now that they are legalized, right? Because if you get hit by one of these transport e-cargo bikes now, you know, it's gonna hurt. So that'll be something on our to-do list. In May 2024, DOT will begin replacing existing pay display meters with pay-by-plate meters. Oh, I guess people are getting away with not paying. Installation of new pay-by-plate meters will begin in Upper Manhattan. Of course it's in Upper Manhattan. Why don't they start downtown? Pay-by-plate meter requires motorists to enter the license plate information when paying for meter parking. Implementation of pay-by-plate parking begins in Northern Manhattan on May 6th and will gradually be deployed in Manhattan over the following year. Detailed information deployed schedule and how to use meters as well as other Parking information can be found in NewYorkCity.gov, paved meter. In addition, the location of meter block faces across New York City can be found at NewYorkCity.gov/parking rate map.
Any other announcements?
City making money. Nothing new there.
You know, they have the new thing that just came out, they're gonna be paying, and they're gonna give out free boxes where you could, your mail, your, whatever you buy from people, Amazon or something like that, they will put it in a box for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're able to retrieve it free of charge.
Yeah, but you have to go get it.
Right.
That's good. More walking. June, what is it? That was right, something good. Thank you though.
Nothing good.
City agency partners, NYPD, do we have someone from the 23rd precinct? This is Detective, Murphy with us today? That he is. No, who's that? It's you three now.
Hello. Good evening. Oh,
It's Detective, it's not Murphy, it's sorry.
Detective Rivera, can we hear you?
Rivera, sorry.
yeah. Can you guys hear me? How are you? Good evening.
We can hear you. Please go
We
ahead.
hear you, we can't see you.
All right. So we're gonna start with just a quick rundown of the numbers for murders in 2024 to compare to 2023. We're even with 0. Rape, same zeros across the board. Robberies were down 2 from this year from 4 of last year. Felony assaults 8. We're a little up, 8 this year, 7 last year. Burglaries, were up 2 compared to 1 from last year. Grand larcenies were up 9 compared to 4 of last year. And grand larceny autos, were down from 1 of this year to 3 of last year. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. We've had a spike in assaults, primarily due to most of them being domestic violence assaults. Here in the 2-3. We've actually had our domestic violence units out pretty heavily, more so than norm, just because we know we're up in assaults. We're up in burglaries. A lot of them have been a mixture of residential and businesses. So we are telling and asking people to remember to pretty much close your doors. Make sure you have the locks and on your windows on, and they're bolted. A lot of people just like forgetting like the small stuff. Also too, we've had a total of recently of 7 confirmed shots fired in the last 28 days, which is very high. But we've also had a large amount of firearm arrests within the last 2 days alone. From the 9th through the 11th this morning, we've had a total of 5 firearms recovered, including arrest within the last 3 days. So our officers are out there, that they're making the appropriate stops and doing what they got to do as well. Also, it's an ongoing investigation, but we do have a homicide where it was domestically involved in housing, and that's an ongoing case. It happened last night, so that's all pretty much I can speak on, just because it is very fresh. So any questions, concerns, please ask them, and thank you.
Hi, thank you for your report. I wanted to find out, with the increase in the, guns that you have taken, are any of those guns also included with the domestic violence cases?
So the firearms that have been taking off the streets, there was one that was domestic related. The other ones were just either crew violence or mixture of just a regular car stop.
And you said that it has increased this year?
Well, just the last couple of days we've had an uptick. Yeah.
Increased?
But we do have our officers out there, and we have had other officers come in, just to help out, essentially.
I'm just wondering how we can get the word out even more, because I've even seen people get out of their cars and leave the key in the car, the door open, actually open, and run to deliver something.
I mean, listen, the best thing to do is if you see something, just let people know. Listen, take your keys out. Or we've had stuff when it comes to stuff like that, like grand larceny autos, where we tell the delivery guys whether they're just picking up the food, the Uber Eats guy picking up the food inside the restaurant, leaving his keys in the car vehicle on. We tell them just to kind of not do that, and we do have flyers that our crime prevention officers hand out. But again, it's just the simple. It's the small stuff. Sometimes people forget.
Mhm. Well, thank you.
All right.
Officer, a couple of meetings ago, we talked about vehicles being abandoned in the street. We talked about one on 107th Street between Lexington and Park. Is it still there and it's still on top of crates? Could you get a little history about, was anything done?
So we have spoken to sanitation and to the other agencies that we need to speak to. I mean, that's all we can do. We'll continue to follow up on that just to see. We did remove a couple of the ones from 102nd Street, the ones that were vouchered on our end. We took care of a few of those. There's a handful that we have to have because there are other precincts that were involved in making the arrest, and essentially in other units that they have to come and pick up their stuff, essentially. So, but we've handled a few. There was one on 105th Street that we made sure was removed. But we have to follow up on it on the other ones from 107 and to follow up on the ones on 102nd Street. But they are, we are getting them removed.
Yeah, the 107 is like they come in, you need a part, that's where to get it. So it's been on crates for the last 5 months already.
Yeah.
And nothing has been done. So if you guys inquire for us, we'll make sure you try to get it out of there. So we can,
Yeah,
the kids can go in there and hang out and the smoke grass and it becomes a problem.
No, 100%. So it like I tell people, if you see something, say something, call 311. Have your neighbors or the people or the residents of the area also call 311 because sometimes your voice is a little louder than mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No problem.
Okay. Any other questions for Detective? All right, Detective, thank you for your time. I'm gonna
No
make
problem.
it to come down to 2-3 and visit you on your next meeting.
Yep, we'll be around. Yep. See you then.
Appreciate you. Officer Powers,
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great night.
Mhm.
I have quite a few information. Hope it's not too long, but I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible. We had a lot of things going on lately. So, our 28-day period stats. For the 28-day period, we have 4 murders. The first one, around 12 a.m. on March 16th, officers received a call about an assault happening at 58 East 132nd Street. Upon arrival, witnesses stated that they saw a 63-year-old male perpetrate a stabbing a 43-year-old male victim multiple times before fleeing the scene. He was transported to Harlem Hospital where he was pronounced DOA. As of right now, we don't have a person in custody in regards. We do. I'm sorry, got mixed up. We do have a person in custody in regards. For the second one, which is a double homicide on March 23rd around 7 p.m., officers received a call of a shots fired happening on the southeast corner of East 128th Street and Lexington Avenue. Upon arrival, an 18-year-old female and a 25-year-old male were both found unconscious at the location. They were both taken to Harlem Hospital where they were pronounced DOA. We don't have a suspect in custody in regards. On March 23rd at 6 p.m., a 54-year-old male was pushed onto the train platform, causing his demise. We do have a suspect in custody in regards. Okay, back to the stats. We have 0 rapes. We have 15 robberies. We're down 25% versus 20. Felony assaults, we are at 37, which is a high record. We are 105%. As far as the felony assaults, yesterday, we took a shooting. 2 male perpetrators went into the building of 505 East 120th Street, attempted to rob a 23-year-old female. They wanted to snatch her phone. So after they snatched her phone, they shot her in the back. She was transported to Harlem Hospital, but she's currently recovering from her injuries. The investigation is still ongoing. We don't have anybody in custody in regards. On March 23rd, a 22-year-old man states that he was standing on top of the subway entrance at East 125 Street and Lexington Avenue around midnight when an unknown perpetrator came up to him, asked him for money, and then shot him multiple times before fleeing the scene. He's currently recovering at Harlem Hospital, and we have no suspects in custody in regards to that, but the investigation is still ongoing. Burglaries, we are down 25% with 6. Grand larcenies, we are up 44%. We actually have a grand larceny pattern going on East 116th Street bus line. They are targeting elderly, and they're going after people's cell phones. We have police doing verticals on the buses and perimeters around the area. Grand larceny autos, we are up 14 compared to 2 in the last 28-day period. It's actually a pattern going on at Pleasant Avenue, First Avenue, and Second Avenue. Most of the grand larceny autos are caused from, delivery drivers. They're delivering stuff, Uber Eats, Instacart, stuff like that. What they're doing is they stop at the location, they take the key out, they don't take the key out the car, and someone, gets in their car and leave. We urge everybody, if they're doing deliveries and stuff, please get out your car, take your key with you, because people are watching. Our next community council meeting is Wednesday, April 17th, 6 p.m. at Bethel Gospel Assembly, located at 2-26 East 120th Street. And that's all I have of my report.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah. Well, more so, I just
Raise
want
your
to.
hand.
Yeah, look at you. I wanted
Sorry,
to
I
ask,
recognize voices, but I can't see the video, so I do sound like I hear them, but
It's just me giving Michelle a hard time. I do it all the time. You should see what I do to her.
okay, hi.
hello.
Doesn't have a camera. This is the camera.
Okay, thank
You guys have to,
you.
like,
I appreciate
direct
your giving your in-depth report. I did want to ask you, did you say assaults are up 107%? Or is that just me not hearing properly?
Wait, felony assaults. No, it's up 105%. So we have 37, but the last 28-day period is 18. So,
Okay, and
according to that number, it's 107%, but
107%, okay.
yeah,
I was
but
off
it's
like-
the actual number is 37 assaults compared to 18 the last period.
That is significant, and has it been a trend of, because it has been a trend for a while that people have been stealing cell phones. I mean, has this just a bump or is this a trend thing?
For like the past few weeks, there has been a pattern going on. So most of the patterns of the larcenies has been the cell phones on the buses. So since then, we've been having our officers on the buses, riding the buses all the way down to the west side. We also have them around the area doing perimeters and verticals, like at each bus stop of the precinct.
Because that has not been so for a while, so people have gotten very lax and they hold it in their hands, and so if they knew that cell phone theft is up again, they might be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, I mean, cell phones has always been a thing, but as of lately, people are now starting to take them more. The reason why the numbers are up because of this specific pattern on this bus. But I mean, snatching of cell phones, has always been a thing. But I mean, I know we haven't really been hearing that much of it in a while, but it's still a thing. Yeah.
Okay, and I appreciate you giving us some details on the 4 murders that happened. And I was not able to go to the prayer vigil, but I know some of the CB11 people and a lot of people in the community appreciated being able to go and spend some time in the midst of where things happen.
Yeah. And since it's elderly, a lot of them talking elderly, we have been going to the senior citizen homes, in the command, doing safety presentations, especially our crime prevention officer, Ryan. Like, we'll go around and give safety presentations about like, the ATM scams, anybody snatching anything on your person, credit card scams, Target scams, utility bills, salesman scams, like stuff like that. So we have been going around and letting the elderly know, like, be careful of such things, because it's been happening a lot.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Do you have any other questions? Officer Powers, we've, at East Road Plaza, there's been some, still issue with the double parking, on the south side of 117th Street. It makes, passing through there very difficult. As well as a lot of loitering that the mall has been complaining about. There's been a large group of Instacart, individuals now kind of congregating around the loading, unloading. We've had, complaints from like people that are trying to load or unload, well, mostly load their vehicles, because these guys are taking the parking spots and they're just kind of sitting there all day. So I just wanted to bring that up to your attention, and I'll follow up with you personally about it.
Oh, yes, definitely. And it's also been brought up in the last community board meeting on Tuesday in the morning. And our CO, he also jumped in on that meeting as well. And, told everybody that, we could be like issuing summonses and, tickets in the area to like combat that.
There's been a lot of complaints that we're hearing from that area.
Yeah.
Alright, but thank you for your time. We appreciate you as always, you as well as detective. Thank you, and we look forward to continue working with you. We're gonna now jump into Department of Transportation. I believe I saw,
He's there.
there he is. But he froze.
How you doing? Jose, I don't see you. I don't see anybody in the office. What's going on?
The owl is grabbing us. Usually when we speak, the owl
I'll move, and it's
moves
not
and
moving
it's
at all.
already.
Oh, no, I
It's,
mean,
it's supposed to be a hybrid meeting. At
All,
least
all
I
the
want to see,
cameras are off.
I
All
want
the
to
cameras
see
are
your
off.
face.
We're here.
See, I see Dawn's, but I want to see the office. Come on, like,
You're gonna come and show up over here.
well, we have to talk about that. So what's going on? I'm just happy to tell you the news.
What's the news?
What's the news?
You don't know what the news is?
No?
I guess you haven't gone to the site, the most important site in the district, CB11. What is it, 117th Street and Pleasant?
It may not be as good as you think, but please give us the news.
Jose, we done it. The last time I spoke with you was about the fact that it was coming. You asked the question as to when. It happened on April the 3rd.
I will send you a picture of a car parked in there after you put it in.
we're talking about this, right?
Please do so, because
Kenneth also has a picture of a car parked in
I'll
there.
send it to you, yeah.
I would like, Jose, in all
What you
seriousness,
put in there isn't very
Oh,
effective.
two different cars.
Yes,
I would,
I have a few pictures
I'll
myself.
send them to you.
It is not doing anything.
I'm
Unfortunately.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
If you want, we could do walkthrough. Let me know when you have the time, and I will show you just how easily it is to go over it.
Well, I went by there, last weekend. I think it was a Saturday and Sunday. I did not see anyone parked in that particular lane. So I will appreciate very much, because that is the condition. That was done. If there's anything that can contribute to something that we should do differently, please keep monitoring it. And if you do have picture,
Oh, we have pictures. We'll send them to you shortly. I'm sorry that, first, we're happy that you were able to finally get it installed. But we may have to reiterate and continue working on it, right? Because it's not It's not really stopping cars, and I mean, happy that the day you went, no one was there, but those are also days of heavy flow, so people are constantly working there, so cars don't always kind of park in there. But definitely, I've seen it, Kenneth has some pictures. I have a video. It doesn't really stop, right? So our whole objective was for a vehicle not to be able to enter there. What it does is it makes it, it's the same thing as a bollard, like slightly annoying, but it's still possible.
Also, if I remember correctly, your concern it's not associated primarily with people parking there. It is associated instead with the safety of those pedestrians that choose to walk in that particular lane.
Rafael, they're one and the same. You cannot separate the two. The whole point of this project was so that people can walk through there.
Exactly.
If there is a vehicle parked there, then they cannot walk through there.
No,
So we cannot separate the two.
no, I'm not, on the contrary.
Yeah.
They're very much associated with each other.
Sounded
What I'm
like-
saying is that if you noticed
I'm not crazy, yeah.
that the safety of the pedestrian walking in that particular lane is a risk, okay? Because that is one of your concern.
Our main concern is that pedestrians and vehicle traffic should be separated. And your solution is not accomplishing that because people can still go over. So let's say a car lost control. And what you put in will not stop it from running over 20, 30 people.
No, exactly, and I agree with you.
Okay.
So what I am saying is that please monitor, and if there is any instances where the safety of the pedestrian.
Here's our question.
No, let me finish, Jose. Please.
But how many pictures do we have to send you so we know?
No, you can send me whatever amount of picture you want, but let me finish my statement.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree with you 100%. I'm motivating you that if you do have any evidence to support your concern, please let me have it so I can do it and advocate on your behalf. Simply
Right.
put.
We will send it to you shortly. My next question will be though, how many pictures will it take before we get?
Anything that you want. I mean, we did it. We did.
If that solution isn't working, you know.
If it's not working, show us that it's not working. That is the core.
Could you send that to Khalid and then we'll.
Yeah, I'll send it right now.
I'll send Khalid my video as well.
Yeah.
Alright, and Rafael, any updates on 128th Street or?
No.
We asked you that last month?
No update on that yet. I assume that the unit that is associated with that particular project is working on it. So I'll ask as to whether that plan is where is that planned, and I will let you know. But there is no update as far as that is concerned right now.
Perfect. In a terrible form, but perfect. I'll also reach out to Diana Ayala's office tomorrow to see if she has any information.
There is no information, Jose. As far as that, any update, they working on the plan, and it takes a long time to plan it to its finality. As soon as they do have anything, I will let you both know. Ayala's office as well as CB11, particularly you. I also sent you an email. I don't know if you saw it. In regard to whether you have been in contact with the MTA about the Second Avenue subway.
Yeah, we saw it.
You have. So
you received a response.
no, you know that they're going to be starting soon.
Second Avenue subway committee meeting. And they presented for us.
Okay. So I haven't heard you talking about that anytime soon.
No, yeah, for sure. We presented to the full board.
Okay.
It's not just here, because it's obviously a huge project. So we have a separate, task force for that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So as far as that is concerned, you don't need any update from my end.
No,
Let's say, you talk about,
Rafael.
Rafael, you talked about the crossing. When is the bridge gonna come down, the walk bridge?
They're still, they went back to
I
plan.
went back to planning.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Alright,
He's asking about the 128th Street, and he's asking when is the bridge gonna come down, but our understanding, when you said it went back to planning mode, right?
No, it's still planning. Even when the presentation was given to you, it's all in the planning process.
That's not what we were told. We
They're
told that it
different.
was
They're
final
different
design.
stage. It's at different stages. The different stages go.
Gentleman that did the design, Rafael, said it was a final design when we asked for changes.
Well, oh, you mean to tell that you think that the changes that you propose was going to be added to the overall plan? I don't know. I will ask.
Rafael, I wanted to reach out to you now that the weather's getting nicer, so we can do some, I did some walkthroughs with your counterpart, Lyle. They were very successful. We found a lot of issues. We did the major corridors, 196, 106, 116, 125th, and 135. Well, actually, a lot more than just 135. We did an L there, but because of 138. But I'd like to set up some walkthroughs with you to see if we can, do some of the smaller streets. See what you're,
Send me a couple of options as far as time is concerned.
Okay.
I'm thanks for the invitation. I'm looking forward to working with you anytime. But send me the time that you are proposing, and will look at my calendar, and then if I have the opportunity, I will take it right away.
perfect. I will do that. Do we have any other questions for ourselves?
My hand is up.
What do you mean
Don.
your time is up? Ask question.
Said her hand.
How
Go
you
ahead,
doing, Don?
Rafael, can you put your contact info into the chat or something like that? Because I used to have you in my phone and I can't find you in my phone anymore. So if you could just put, and then I searched and I can't find your email either. So
Can
if
you
you could just put your info in the chat, or if you still have my number, if you could just text me your information.
Can you imagine?
I don't see you in my phone anymore, but
I don't know what happened, Don.
T-Mobile. Or your email also, I can.
Oh, is it along? Oh, yeah.
Hey, Kali Nixon has everything that necessary to connect with me anytime.
Sounds good. Khalid, can you put it in the chat for me before I forget?
I'll shoot you an email, no problem.
All right, thank you, Rafael.
No question?
No.
No more? Okay, just let me say, Jose, I'm looking forward to meeting with you. Send me some,
I sent you the pictures already, you should have them.
send me a day, and, anytime. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so. Do we have some new from the district attorneys? Is he present?
We do have Sharima.
Alright.
Yes, Sharima, are you available to give us an update?
I am available for updates. I would like to also announce that we have Andrew Washer and on the in the waiting area, waiting to get in. Do you see him?
I'm right here.
Right here.
Yes, he'll be doing a presentation. So I just wanted to add him. But hello to everyone. Hope everyone is having a good evening. I have some updates and then I would like to pass it over to him. Okay?
No problem.
All right, thank you. So on April 3rd, the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Braggs Jr. announced the guilty pleas of twin brothers Jimmy Shabazz, 41, and Lil Zim Louis Shabazz, 41, to scheme to defraud in the first degree for stealing $7,620 from two Spanish-speaking day laborers through a scheme to exploit them and refuse to pay their wages. Under the terms of the plea entered in the New York State Supreme Court, the defendants who have paid $4,000 and back wages must pay the remaining $3,620 by July 18th, 2024, before which they must not be rearrested for any other crime. They have successfully followed these terms. They can replead to a misdemeanor charge. If they do not, their felony convictions will stand, and they will each face up to 1 1/3 to 4 years in state prison. Also on April 3rd, the DA announced the indictment of Shantina Howell, 42, a former property manager for multiple Harlem rent subsidized apartment buildings, for allegedly stealing approximately $56,412 from tenants by depositing money orders intended for rent into her personal bank accounts. Between May 2021 and October 2023, Howell stole 141 money orders from approximately 60 tenants, including veterans and elderly and disabled New Yorkers. Howell is charged in New York State Supreme Court indictment with 2 counts of grand larceny in the 3rd degree and 1 count of scheme to defraud in the 1st degree. And I just want to add these few pieces. Those who had youth apply to the high school internship program, they will be starting in the summer, and interviews are going on right now. We are currently, for our ambassadors program, we have 2 from West Harlem reps, 1 from Central Harlem, and we're looking for an additional youth ambassador rep in East Harlem. So if anyone has a person in mind, please have them reach out to me. And our Harlem office will be looking for interns for the summer, 18 to 24 years old. Please have them reach out to me. And our gun violence prevention grants are coming out soon. If there's anyone who would like more information, please reach out to me. And from here forward, please allow me to introduce Mr. Andrew Washerer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I think some of you have met before. Thanks for hearing from us. And having heard what the NYPD had to say, I have a presentation that has some stats and things like that. I think we can get to it if we need to. I would like to start with just addressing one thing that came up in the NYPD presentation, and then my understanding from talking to a couple of people that you guys wanted to hear from us about discovery. So if you don't mind that I start there, I can toss the presentation if we get to it, but a lot of it got covered already. So one of the things that came up was the theft of cell phones on buses. I want to speak a little bit more to what's been going on recently in New York City, Manhattan specifically, with the theft of mobile devices like that. Because I think it's important that you all talk to your community members that you speak to about how to be a little more safe with your phones. And that is not just, keep it tight, don't let somebody grab it from you. One of the reasons people are stealing these things now is because the phone is not just an $800 piece of technology. It is Venmo, it is Cash App, it is Grubhub, it is Uber, it is Amazon. You can order all manner of things from that phone. So people have figured out that kind of the least valuable thing you've taken when you've taken a phone is the physical phone itself. They are trying to go in there and get the phone unlocked so that they can go into Cash App and transfer money, go into your bank accounts, order stuff on Amazon, order food on Grubhub, etc. So something to be very aware of, and I can send some palm card materials that we have, is A, don't ever hand anybody else your phone. If somebody says, I want to send money to my basketball team, I'll put the information into Zelle for you. No. They can tell you where to send it. Do not hand the phone to them. They can drain you of $2,000 to $5,000 in under 60 seconds. So do not let somebody else handle your phone. Second, if you use financial applications on your phone, like a banking app or like a Cash App or a Venmo, there are optional settings in each one of those that requires that you enter a separate password when you want to do a transaction. Turn those on. Any additional authentications you can turn on inside of those applications make your phone much less valuable. And if somebody takes it, they might dump it and they won't drain your bank account. So that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that the thefts of cell phones are up. We've heard of networks that will pay you $20 for a phone if it's locked, $100 to $150 if it's unlocked, because it's worth so much in terms of how they can cash out. So something to be careful of and to possibly explain what's going on with those cell phone thefts. Any questions about that? Because I know that's an issue that's raised by the NYPD as a crime of concern right now. So if there are questions, I'd be happy to take them.
No, thank you, you were really explained it well, thank you.
Okay. Great. And then I spoke to Jordan Stockdale, our chief of staff, who said there were specific things you wanted to hear about from us on discovery. Can somebody just tee that up for me, or I can go into our presentation if you'd prefer that?
We'll move on in the actual agenda item. We're still in information updates, and in presentations and discussions, we'll move on to that.
It'll be short, I think.
Okay, so let me go share a screen then. Hold on.
Wait, not yet, not
Not
yet,
yet.
not yet. 1 second.
We have two
Okay,
more.
not yet. So what can I tell you? I mean, discovery is a big topic.
We'll let you know. Let me just finish with informational updates and then we'll let you know. Thank you.
Khalid, I would like to also announce that Courtney Bennett is also on the call from our office.
Courtney Bennett, okay.
Yes.
I know I made her a panelist as well.
Him,
Excuse me, my apologies.
thank you.
I did have a question to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, my turn.
And thank you, Andy.
So let's do, what's the next one? What is it? Public safety?
Advocacy groups, if there's any of them, anyone present that has any information updates.
Like who?
Well, I don't think we have information updates for this section. I think there was potentially going to happen, but I don't think we have that today.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, as in, if there are
Oh, sorry.
if there are any public safety or transportation advocacy groups that are here that can give us any information updates, like our city agency partners, they are free to speak up if they're here.
Oh, I see. Do we have anyone there?
Anyone wants to raise their hands if there's anybody here present? If not, then we can move on.
There or?
Let's move on then.
All right, now, and Andy Warshar, did I say something correctly? Mr. Warshar, are you still available?
Yeah, I'm still right here.
Okay,
All right.
now you're up.
You're up.
Okay. So I think I saw on the next slide, proposed discovery law changes. Yeah, there you go. I can just jump straight into that. And if there are specific questions, just stop me, raise a hand on Zoom, et cetera. Because I don't know exactly what. Good. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, stop me if you've heard parts of this before. I think the coverage of the 2020 criminal justice reforms focused on bail reform. People have talked to the blue in the face about bail reform. In many ways, the far more impactful part of what happened in 2020 was discovery reform. Discovery is the process in a case, civil or criminal, by which the other side learns the evidence that someone has against them. In the criminal process, it's the way that the defense learns what evidence the prosecution and law enforcement have. To be totally blunt, the prior system was broken. It was hugely unfair to defendants. They didn't know the evidence against them when they had to make decisions about whether to plead guilty, and it was not a good system. The reforms to that law went entirely too far the other direction. The practice of criminal law in New York State in 2020 is basically about tracking down little bits and scraps of paper that don't include anything of substance and waiting for a defense lawyer to find out that you've missed one of those pieces of paper, at which point they get to yell, "Aha, I gotcha, your case is dismissed." The idea is that the defense should be entitled to everything about the case. The law says related to the subject matter of the case. The way in which that's been interpreted has become, I think, farcical and completely ridiculous. We need to produce all benefits we've given to a witness so that they can be cross-examined. You've been bought a hamburger by the prosecutor's office. You had a relocation of your apartment paid for by them. That's totally fair. You should be cross-examined on it. We had a case dismissed because we paid for someone to take a cab to our office. We told the defense we paid for that cab. We gave them our report about that payment. We didn't have the cab receipt. Case dismissed. Doesn't matter that there's a victim, doesn't matter that they need an order of protection. That case is dismissed for the lack of a cab receipt. So that's where we find ourselves. We have proposed changes to those laws to roll them back to a point where we can actually function again on a wide variety of cases. The number of person hours it takes to do a criminal prosecution has increased somewhere between 400 and 500%. They did not hire 400 to 500% more lawyers for us. So we have had to make calls on which cases we can and can't prosecute in ways that, I've been here since 2006. This is the third DA I've served. I've never seen us have to make so many decisions about triage and just what can we afford to do, what can we not afford to do. That's frequently why I think we get questions from the community saying, how in the name of God did you downgrade this case from a felony to a misdemeanor? The guy's done it 10 times, 15 times. The answer is almost certainly this. We just don't have the people and the resources to do it anymore. So we are trying to figure out how to restore some of that. And to that end, what we've asked the legislature to do is to say, we don't want to go back to the old system. We want to give people everything that we have. That's a system called open file discovery, which is if the prosecutor has it, we give it to the defense. We want to set some guidelines around that and say, by the way, we can't just say, hey, we don't have the main video in the case, so you don't get it, haha. No, there's a baseline minimum. We have to get a certain amount of evidence into our file and then turn over our entire file. But we want that to be enough to be able to move forward, and the technical term for it is to stop the speedy trial clock. We can't stop the speedy trial clock now until we have the cab receipt. I want to be able to stop the speedy trial clock when we have all the evidence we need for the trial. And if we can do that, we can start to restore some of the things that we used to do. And we can start to actually function a little bit more as a prosecutor's office and not as a paperwork review agency. So one of the things that I think is an example that is eye-opening for folks is one category of information we have to turn over is every disciplinary infraction of every police officer involved with a case. So if there's a case where 4 people respond and they recover a gun, we cannot stop our speedy trial clock and protect our case from dismissal until we have obtained from the police department the entire disciplinary file of every one of those officers. That's not just one place. That's not just internal affairs. That each precinct keeps disciplinary materials. There's a force investigation division. There's IAB. There's the Civilian Complaint Review Board. So there's no database I go to and say, just give me the material for Officer Smith. It's very complicated. Even more so, inside of that are civilian people who have made complaints about cops. Andy Warschauer, was roughed up by the police. I bring an allegation, I give them my phone number. The current state of the law is that our judges are telling us we can't even redact those names and numbers, which means that any person who makes a complaint about a police officer is going to, for the rest of that officer's career, have his or her information turned over to every defense lawyer for every person that cop arrests for the rest of their career. That cannot be what the legislature intended this to be. I mean, think about that. In 2010, you complain about an officer. And in 2022, a defense lawyer calls you and says, hey, remember in 2010 when this officer roughed you up? I want you to be a witness because that officer is now testifying in a trial against my client. That's where we found ourselves. So it is, way through the looking glass. We lost, I think, about a third of our staff who resigned because they didn't want to deal with this. We've managed to rehire, and I think things are better. We've made progress. But these are concerns with discovery that inform every part of our practice right now. So any help we can ever get from the community to say, none of us want to go back to trial by ambush. And by the way, the city offices weren't doing that towards the end of that era anyway. But we do want to get back to a place where there is some sanity. And the practice of criminal law involves evaluation of cases, spending more time on whether somebody actually is guilty, spending more time on what we can do to help them access programming, and spending far less time gathering cab receipts and police disciplinary records as the primary function of our job. There's the beginning of my rant. I can take a pause there. I saw a hand up from Kyoka. I don't know if she's still here or if she dropped off.
Her hand is
No,
raised.
she's still up there.
Yeah, Kyoko's.
I'm
Hi,
still
Kyoka.
here. Actually, Andy, hi.
How are you?
Good to see you via Zoom. My question is actually for the public safety members.
because this is probably the third time that I'm sitting through a presentation about discovery, and I'm kind of wondering, what are you guys planning to do with the information? Are you guys going to advocate on the behalf of the community so that we are not going through this? So that we are talking to legislators about, the iniquities in this particular type of the law. I'm just wondering, because we have these presentations all the time. We also have a precinct council meeting where I don't see the public safety members of the community board like kind of advocating on the behalf of the community. So what are you guys going to do with this information?
So the question is not for Jordan, it's for us. How many times have we had this? I don't think we've had Jordan here 3 times. But to answer we have in here, particularly in this committee, obviously, public safety is a big issue. Our number one issue with public safety is youth violence, underage shooting, what the NYPD considers gangs now, and how they're seen. Most of our questions to the Jordan will also be around that, how underage discovery or anything that changed from that. But yeah, our plan is to look at this so that we can advocate in order to to make sure that the tools are there for things to change, because obviously what we're seeing now is that certain laws are being taken advantage of, particularly underage. For shootings, we had a young man who had 3 shootings within a summer, and he kept just walking out. A lot of it had to do with the judge's ability to not see everything was sealed. And this is definitely something that we've brought up to obviously it's not in our purview, but it is something that we can bring up to our electeds to see what they can do about it. Because our community unfortunately gets affected heavily from this. Does that answer your question?
I mean, it does, and I appreciate you and your transparency of, trying to figure out what you're going to do with it. I guess, my concern is that I feel like you guys are like the voices and the representatives for our community, and I don't feel like I see a lot of your board members come out to anything that deals with public safety in any other instance. And so when we have these conversations, I think that and I love y'all. I'm not trying to be shady. I don't need an umbrella. I'm gonna say what I say, in love. I think that East Harlem specifically deals with a very unique type of crime. And not crime, not the specific crime itself, but a unique set of crimes. Like, we have everything going on. And so these laws impact us negatively so much. And I feel like there's the opportunity where we're getting these presentations to share our voices and to collectively bring everybody together so that they understand that these are some of the things that are preventing law enforcement from working. That's just my opinion, but we can. I'll stop there because I know there's more to the presentation.
I mean, that's our objective here. That's the whole point we're doing this. I mean, obviously, if you guys are doing it also at the precinct, council meetings, that's great too. We can work in tandem, but the whole point of having Jordan and district attorney's office here is to do that exactly.
Thank you, Jose. I also want to thank you, Kyoko. And I think this is where the important work happens, is having these conversations and, really getting a full picture of what that crime looks like and what we can do to address those things. And I think especially when talking about these things, it's so important to lead, with facts, not fear. And to that end, I do also want to ask Mr. Warshar some questions if we have time.
For sure.
Thank you, Chair. So my first question, you discussed sort of an increase in dismissals given the new discovery reform that happened around 2019. And my first question is, are you aware of what proportion of those new dismissals are the serious gun crimes or felony cases that we're concerned about in our community versus low-level misdemeanor offenses, traffic offenses, violations, things of that matter?
So one of the things we've gotten better at earlier on in the life of discovery reform, really serious cases were getting impacted. We figured out how to get away from that. To be clear, the shootings, the shots fired, the murders, the rapes, to a degree, the robberies, we are able to move heaven and earth and get compliant. And we are pouring person hours into those cases. They're staffed with 3 people, they used to be staffed with 1. If they used to have 2, they have 6. So we have defended our violent crime work, I think, very well. And I think from where we were in 2021, I'm really happy about where we are in violent crime. You know, we had an 8-month stretch in Jefferson and Johnson with 0 shootings or shots fired. I don't remember that happening over the course of my time here. It's changed in the last couple of weeks, which is a shame. But after some targeted prosecutions where we worked every single shots fired case like a homicide for about 3 or 4 months, 8 to 10 targeted prosecutions, we basically got rid of gun violence there for nearly a year. So I'm pretty satisfied with where we are in violent crime, but it's coming at a cost. And the cost is our ability to do burglary cases, grand larceny cases, retail theft cases, cannabis shop enforcement, drug dealing enforcement. Like that's where we've lost the ability to work the way that we need to work to support public safety. So yes, we can keep up with the violence. We can keep up with the gang work. We are always going to spend the resources on that. But when the store closes down and they come to us and they say, we can't do this anymore because the same people are hitting us every day, I hate telling them that we're out of resources and we can't do it, but that is frequently the answer. And that's the reason for that is that we're unwilling to give ground on serious violence.
Thank you for that, Mr. Worcester. I just want to follow up. So my understanding, it sounds like there's a resource need perhaps at the district attorney's office, but to be clear, the discovery reforms aren't affecting the prosecution of the serious gun crimes that we've talked about.
I wouldn't say they're not affecting them. I mean, we're making different decisions on those. I think that we have to litigate them more heavily. There's a lot of inside baseball stuff, but basically the price of each one has gone up. The risks to witnesses have gone up because the need to disclose their names and contact information is much more severe under the new laws. So the risk of a witness being messed with has increased. The efforts we have to spend to keep them safe have increased. We weren't as good at it in 2021 as we are now. We've gotten better at practicing under this regime. So I wouldn't say it hasn't affected them, but I think we have really just, fire hosed resources into those cases to make sure that we don't have a breakdown there. So yeah, I think we can do that at the expense of everything else. The resource thing, I mean, the legislature keeps coming back to us and saying, all we need to do is properly fund this law. Maybe if properly fund means you're going to take our 300 lawyers and make it 1,200. No one's going to do that. Right now, to comply with our discovery burdens, we need to get all those police disciplinary files. That's the same for all the 4 other DAs and the special narcotics prosecutor. There are 5 members of the NYPD who have to do that for every case in New York City. So 5 human beings have to produce the disciplinary records of every cop involved in every arrest here. You could up that staff and we could get better. The problem is, I'll give you a great example. Axon is the company that runs the body-worn cameras here. Great company. They turn on new features all the time. If they turn on a new feature, unbeknownst to any of us, that starts collecting GPS data, for example, NYPD has it, we don't know about it. Every case on which it's been collected, where they had the data and we didn't know about it, gets dismissed when we learn of it, because it was information the police department had that was not shared with the defense. So there are ways to resource this better and take down, 5% here and 10% there. But the law is conceptually flawed in that it does not have a proportionality standard to it. In every other area of law, the severity of a sanction is tied to how severe the offense was. If we intentionally withhold evidence, for God's sake, dismiss the case, sanction the prosecutor. If a data company turns on a feature in Scottsdale, Arizona that no one here has ever heard of, you're going to dismiss every existing domestic violence case because of that? That just can't be the regime we operate under. What we want, to be specific, is a link between the severity of the violation and the severity of the consequence. Leave open to the judge. You can still dismiss it if you want, judge, if you think it's that bad. You just don't have to, is what we're asking for. And I guess I didn't explain that more clearly before.
I don't want to hijack the entire meeting.
No,
I do want to leave some
no.
questions as well.
This is our main, we knew this was gonna take time, so after this, we have a street renaming, so we have time for this.
Sure, yeah, I definitely want to respect yourself at this time, so I appreciate you indulging me. And just to follow up on that point, so I know we've been discussing resourcing funding. If you're aware, my understanding is the legislature actually increased funding for district attorney's offices across the city. Do you know how much money the office received last year and the new funding increasing?
There are a bunch of different buckets of money, and I run like the violent crime side of the house, so I'm aware of some of it. I know it's in the 7 figures. that we received to deal with discovery. Whether it was 2 million or 6 million, I really couldn't tell you what our share was. I think it was, in the tens of millions for the city. There's
And that's increased funding year over year, correct? From whatever the status quo was
yeah,
before.
it's at least for a couple years. I don't know if it's in perpetuity. It's,
Okay.
I think it was a 3-year thing, at least the capital part of it. I know some of the projects that we're using it for, and I'm working on those implementations. What I would say is the initial law in 2019 contained zero money. So this was an entirely unfunded mandate out of the gate. And everybody said, you'll just be able to pull it off. What they asked for was a systems integration of a 38,000 uniformed cop police department with 6 2,000 person law firms with a budget of zero. And the fact that that crashed and burned is, a cynic might say that was the point, but I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that was an oversight. My prior career was doing systems integration work for Ernst & Young. If you were doing this with a 40,000 person private company and 6 acquisitions of 2,000 person companies, that is a $30 to $50 million budget. And we got zero. So yeah, the money, and to be clear, the money helps, but our asks are not money. Our asks are proportionality. Like, we can get to a reasonable place with a more reasonable amount of funding if we can restore some sense of proportionality. The other part of this is, and I don't know if people care about the training of defense lawyers and the training of prosecutors.
We care.
The younger lawyers on both the defense side and the prosecution side are not learning how to represent the state or their clients well. They're learning to search for pieces of paper if they're prosecutors, or look for a piece of paper that wasn't turned over if they're defense lawyers. So they are not becoming better lawyers. They're not gaining good judgment. They're not learning what a case is worth. And they're not learning, how to investigate, okay, thing one as a prosecutor is the person did it, but they don't need to go to jail. Thing two is the person didn't do it. There are fewer hours being spent on all those tasks because those hours are being spent on, is there a pre-arraignment ZOLPA form that I didn't find? And for the defense, it's not, can I interview a witness that has an alibi? It is, let me review this box and see if a form I've seen in another case of mine doesn't exist in this box. So we're just getting these somewhat paper chase trained lawyers who are going to do a disservice to both sides of the process.
Understood. I really appreciate that answer. And I agree. I don't think paper chasing would be good for anyone, especially if we want to have, justice in our community and we want to have, folks who are well trained on both sides. Sorry, just one more question. That's okay. I'm so sorry, Chair.
This is gonna be your last.
Yeah, this will be the last question. So I was
and by the way, Sharima has my information. If Jordan's still here, he'll tell you I'm happy to rant about this offline as much as you want. So we can ask how many questions you want and then come back to me.
Yeah, that'd be great, definitely helpful, and I would love to do that offline. My last question, I was really concerned, I know you mentioned a story where, or maybe as an example where, because of these discovery reforms, there have been, names of witnesses or kind of confidential information that's can't be redacted. But isn't there a provision in the new discovery reform that allows for a protective order or something to prevent disclosure of this kind of confidential information? To stop it from being overbroad?
Yeah, and here's where some of the resource stuff comes in. So there are some protections built in. To begin with, they're all discretionary on the part of the judge. So if the trial level judge says, I'm not that worried about this witness, that's kind of it. That witness's name and number are going out. We have a case where there are 3 kids who, I don't want to identify this too much, but there are 3 young people who are now in therapy because their information was released and they were severely harassed. That is not the norm. But you want to ask about where some of the money goes, right? We had to buy a program called Whitcom. Whitcom is a useless piece of software, except for in this context, because what it does is allow us to put a fake phone number on top of a real phone number. So now we have to provide adequate contact information to a defense attorney. We can hide the real phone number underneath that Whitcom product. That's a mid 6-figure product a year. So there's part of the discovery reform money is not going to actually making us better at being discovery compliant. It's going to this. Witness safety, we had, and I was one of them. I was deeply worried about what was going to happen to witness safety when this passed. It hasn't been as bad as we thought it was going to be. I think it's important that when law enforcement runs into that, we say that honestly. It has been bad. It has not been the catastrophe that many of us predicted. We do see declining cooperation. I think whether it's real threats or changes in perceptions of law enforcement, it's hard to disentangle. It is harder for us to get witnesses to come forward now than it was 5 years ago. That could be because of discovery reform. That could be because of the political climate. It could be because of 9 million different things. No one wanted to be in a precinct during COVID. So, there's just a lot of reasons that are hard to disentangle. I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't say this was one of them. So that part has been tough. The explanation to witnesses about what the process is going to be has changed, which changes cooperation too. So when I would practice, I would say to a victim of a violent crime, if you testify in the grand jury, no one will hear about that until the trial. It would be a felony for me to disclose the fact that you had testified. Now that is 48 hours after a crime, I need you for the grand jury. Come down. About 45 days from now, I have to release your name and phone number to the defense attorney unless we win a motion for a protective order. The victim says, well, can you guarantee me you're going to win that motion? No. I have to go before a judge. I can tell you I usually win motions of class A. I don't usually win motions of class B. So yours is somewhere in the middle. I think we're going to prevail. You can imagine if you're somebody who's just been robbed at knife point, that's not the same answer as it's a felony to disclose your cooperation. So it makes things harder. It's not impossible, but it makes things harder.
So you got questions?
Oh, yeah, thank you for the indulgence, I appreciate it. I'm done, I want, definitely.
So call me. I mean, email me, call me offline. I'm happy to do as many of these you want.
Do I have a question or?
No, if I have any questions, just please give us your
Anyone, I have a
information.
few questions,
Yeah,
but
very good.
I'd like everyone to go, Dawn or anyone online.
I was,
If you don't have a question, that's fine too.
no, I
If you
was
have-
just actually putting in the chat that these were great questions that were being asked, and I was really learning a lot from the
Yes.
questions. So
Yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to put anything in the chat, so I'm just saying it out loud. I appreciate those questions and look forward to the a one pager that I can just kind of like meditate on a little bit and just visualize
Thank you.
all these scenarios.
This
Thank
is
you
covering
for coming, Andy.
20,
Of course.
right? Oh my God. Jordan, these new rules went in 2020, right?
January 1st of 2020, they were implemented. They were passed in I think April 2019 they were passed.
No, we understand, at least this committee, we have great precincts in this committee, we've worked with the 2325, SA8, great. Community policing, we have Kyoka, we had all, we have a great mesh here. Even during that whole defund the police thing, and I got a lot of, pressure from people that wanted to present here, and I thought it was irresponsible because there was no solution, it was just a very, like, and here in this committee, since I've been on the community board, I've been on this committee. And we've always asked for more funding for our precincts, more officers in our precincts, in the trains. And then all of a sudden, to go to nothing is kind of irresponsible, at least I felt that way. And others, didn't, but that's okay. But here we are, we know the amount of like burden that was put on your department without any additional funding. That's why we have you here. Now, these proposed, the changes that you want. Has
Yeah.
that, where are we in that particular?
I'm going to speak bluntly, and I hope that's okay with everybody here.
That's the only way we like to speak.
The oxygen on criminal justice reform is so eaten up by bail that it's hard to get people to listen to anything else. And you know what? Bail reform is what it is. It's the law of the land. It's not changing. There are places where I think it's, if you ask me honestly, there are places it's suboptimal. There's places where the new system is better than the old system. It's not an unworkable system is where I think we've all kind of gotten to. There are changes I'd propose, but we're not here to talk about that. It makes it hard for the legislature, though, to come back to this issue. And for whatever political reasons at the time, there were no prosecutors at the table when they hammered out this bill. This bill was written by the defense bar.
Jordan, if I can pause you for a second, this is a city council issue, correct?
No, this is the state legislature. This is the Assembly and the Senate.
We're talking about the state legislature in terms of Assembly and Senate.
Correct. That's where this is.
That way we know who we need to articulate ourselves.
All
to.
this is there. And the frustrating part for me, and this is where I will speak frankly, is I believe the legislature tried to do what we've asked them to. They added a section to the law that tries to put proportionality back into the system. The problem is they put it in all the wrong places, and they talked to all the wrong people about what the problems were. So I think if you ask the legislature, should a case be dismissed under your law for the following 6 reasons, they would say, no, that's not what I voted for. And then convincing people that the thing you passed is not the thing you think you passed is a hard thing to convince legislators of. So we're in a tight spot. Discovery is very technical. It's boring as heck. It's not the same as, a judge should have the liberty to put a quote unquote dangerous person in jail. That's easy to write a story about. We can prosecute retail crime at a differentially lower rate because of our burden, blah, blah, blah. That put everybody half to sleep. So part of it for us is figuring out how to message this. I don't think that the proportionality standard is even controversial to the people we want to have vote on this. It's just getting the attention on it. And my worry is, until there's a bill with someone's name on it, until there's a Stevens law or something for some tragedy that occurs, we're not going to get movement on this until something goes terribly wrong.
So your office already has this in the written form, and you presented that.
Yeah, we have gone back and forth with the legislature, 10 rounds on this. They know our views. We have 3 very concrete proposals.
Could you send that to us?
Yeah, that's in the one pager. It is all about this standard of, open file discovery and proportionality. We want to be compelled to gather a minimally acceptable, or more than that, a trial level case worth of evidence, be under an obligation to get that, fulfill all of our constitutional obligations about exculpatory evidence, and turn over everything we actually have. That's where we want to be. We want to get away from, I've learned that Axon creates metadata about this video, go get it for me. Like, that is not a good use of defense lawyers' time. It's not a good use of our time. And it is just excess cost with no benefit. I want to put that time into, or that money into, additional community navigators, additional CJI screeners to get people into alternative to incarceration programs. The unspoken part about this for me is the grand larceny cases we don't bring, the ones we do bring result in indictments and somebody being steered to treatment court, which is highly effective. Treatment misdemeanor court is, ineffective is a nice word for it from me. We're trying, but the pre-indictment treatment courts are by and large, for the people we really need it for the most, not helpful. So I want to get more people steered there, but we're not spending time on that. We're not spending money on it. And we will give you that to your point, we will give you the more specific 3-point thing that we're asking for.
Please, because that way we can push that forward to our electives. That's kind of the whole point of having you here to explain it to us, but we also, I believe any extreme is an issue, right? If there's an extreme where many years ago where it was very easy to have indict someone, or for the police, the power they had and the pressure that they had, and I grew up in those times, so I knew, now that I'm going bald, I can see all the scars. I got more scars from people. I got more from NYPD because you really, sometimes we fought them, but most of the time we didn't, because that was just another charge. But every once in a while, it's just got too crazy. It was a time when it was just cowboys and but now we're in a situation where I think the other extreme is, right? Like, they're just requiring so much where your office, the NYPD is having a hard time doing their job, right? And their job is, to protect the community, to give peace to the community, like the mission of NYPD, and they need to have the tools to be able to do that, right? There needs to be accountability, but at the same time, the tools need to exist, because as you've known, East Harlem is a hotbed for particularly a lot of youth violence, which we'd like to have issues with, and we're looking forward to how to handle the underage situation, because there has to be some way to handle that, right? You can't just let a kid keep shooting up a whole summer, and that there has to be something that can be done. Because what's happening is that the older people in the gangs are using these kids, and they're funneling all that anger. Make a name for yourself, do this, don't worry, you'll be out in a few hours. You're underage, you'll be fine. And obviously it's changing these kids. It's changing the way they act, it's changing their behavior, and these kids stay that way. They stay aggressive, and they, I had a situation in my business. I'm on 116 2nd and 3rd, and the cab was taking too long, and the kid pulled out his gun and knocked on the glass, and the 2-5 picked him up. They let him go, and unfortunately, like, I think hours after letting him go, he was killed by a rival, right there around the corner from Jefferson. We knew the kid used our business all the time. I had the car service there. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, I have to report this. I can't not report you pulling a gun out on my employee.
Yep.
I was late, but that's the whole objective of what we're trying to do. So it'd be great if you send us that information. We're gonna forward that to the electeds. We'll see how we can push through. And I understand that well, because I work with lobbyists. with the state, and it's not easy. It's not easy. They spend half their time on the budget, and then they gotta rush everything else through, but if what they put in isn't really what's representative, and what's making just, you can't really function, then it's something that we need to change. Michelle had a question?
I just wanted you to add to your paperwork who you've already sent it to. So you mentioned that you sent it to the legislators and you sent it to
Everyone.
the, who did you actually send it to? If you could just add that. Cause it's better if we target the same people, if they are on the same agenda.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to our intergovernmental affairs guy about. He's great.
We have a purview of our scope
Yeah,
in East Harlem. We will send it to all the electives in our scope. We
yeah.
don't wanna give you.
They may
everything.
have it already because we've been loud about this, but more
We just-
voices is better.
Not citywide, we just work here. So what we'll do is even though council is part of it, she also has a lot of sway up in Albany. So we'll send it to Diane, we'll send it to everyone here, even our ghost, our senator. We'll send it to him as well. And, but, we see what we can do, because I think it's something that we have interest in. The reason we have you here is because we have this interest, because we see what's happening in the street. We know the difficulties that you're facing since 2020. And there has to be some common sense, really. It's just more common sense than anything else.
We appreciate it.
I would like you to, if you can, give us your information. So that we can.
In the
Say again, I'm sorry.
Jose,
Can you give us your information in the chat,
Like
so that we can contact you off camera?
Yeah, the best way to get to me is usually through Sharima or somebody in the community affairs team. Because if I'm not around and I'm about to go on childcare leave, there are people who substitute for me. So I don't want you to get air traffic control, get stuck with me. If you contact Sharima, she will find me or the right person to replace me when I'm gone in a couple of weeks, and then I'll be back in the fall. So I want to make sure you have access to somebody at all times.
Jose, may I have a question?
Sure, Rafael.
I just want to ask Mr. Warschauer, you have talked about proportionality. What exactly do you mean when you talk about proportionality in relation to the topic of conversation?
Sure. So a discovery violation can take a bunch of different forms. You could have a video that completely exonerates somebody and tuck it under your couch and never turn it over. That you should go to jail for as an attorney, as a sanction. You could have the cab receipt that means nothing to the case that you didn't turn over. That probably doesn't call for any sanction. The more complicated ones are in the middle. There are pictures that show that injuries that were described by a witness are not as severe as they might have been described as. We turn those over late. A judge could grant a later trial date. They could grant a discovery inspection where they say you have the right to go and do a hearing on this to look for further pictures. They could suppress the pictures. Say we didn't get pictures in time that make the case better for me. We didn't turn them over in time. They could say, you can't use those pictures. Case survives, but you can't use this evidence that was turned over to the defense too late. So there's just a graded scale of things you can do. The law allows for a jury instruction called a negative inference, which is, hey, jury, this was turned over late, and you're allowed to assume that the reason it was turned over late is bad for the prosecution. There's almost anything under the sun you can imagine a judge could fashion as a discovery remedy. Right now, the only real remedy out there is dismissal of the case, which sometimes just is wildly disproportionate to the thing that the defense didn't get. Does that make sense? It was a bad answer, sorry.
Does repeating offenders included in that particular equation?
Yeah, a person's record does not matter to our discovery obligations. You can have a 90-page rap sheet, or it could be your first arrest. The obligations on our part are the same. And that's as it should be. Whatever the system's going to be, it should be equal between all parties.
Thank you.
Good. One more question? You got it. This is the time.
No, not.
I know you.
All right, Jordan.
I'd probably be hot.
We'll talk about. But it is good. I like it. I like because this is something that's important and something that we're trying to deal with. And we're actively trying to deal with it. We'll get the information from Jordan. We'll forward it out to the,
His name is Andy Warshar.
I know, why am I keep saying Jordan?
Jordan's our chief of staff. I think they had me logged in as him. He's a great guy. I wish I was as young as Jordan and in as good shape.
Sorry about that, Andy. So, but part of what we're trying to do is get that information from you so we can forward it along and make it our mission. Because we're trying to make changes in our community, and this is one of the ways that we feel that we'll make the changes. All right, thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here.
All right.
Good luck on your leave.
I appreciate that. On that note, I've got to step aside. So if you guys ever need me or my replacement, please contact Sharima or one of her colleagues and they'll get you to somebody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gas electric safety initiatives?
Yeah, that's Adam. Adam, are you still with us?
Yes, still here. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
You have a great microphone.
Oh, good. I'm going to try to share my screen just at the beginning, and then I may close it with your permission just to save bandwidth. I will share my screen as well, if you'll bear with me. My name is Adam Sokoloff. I work with customer outreach and education for Con Edison. We are a group that was established in 1993 by order of the Public Service Commission, and our function is to really be out in the community and to share information that's of use to the community, especially when it comes to things like safety and savings. So I wanted to first just introduce myself and also to say that if you are involved in any other constituent-facing groups or any other community-based organizations, particularly nonprofits, or other community-based organizations, city agencies that have case managers on staff. We have a lot of good information on these topics that we're happy to bring to your staff, to your communities, and I am responsible for outreach within the borough of Manhattan, so I look forward to meeting and speaking with more of you. Are my slides now showing?
Yes.
Great. Still showing?
Yep.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So first, I just wanted to highlight scam awareness. If someone were to show up at your door, we advise that you not only ask to see a photo ID and obviously not open the door for them on the basis of they're saying that they're a Con Edison employee or they're on behalf of Con Edison. You can also ask them for their employee ID number and then dial our 800 number, 1-800-75-CON-ED at the bottom of the screen here to verify that this is someone who's in fact supposed to be at your door. Scammers are sophisticated. If you receive a link, we advise that even if it looks like a Con Edison link, you're better off just going directly to our website. There are only really 3 URLs that you can access through the website through which you can make payments. So we advise customers to think twice before clicking on links. Con Edison will never call someone to threaten to turn off your electric or gas, let's say within the hour, or they won't call and say, give me money over the phone or else we're shutting you off immediately. That's not how businesses conduct themselves. And oftentimes that's a lever for pressure that scammers will use. They may even say it in a nice tone and convincingly, but we advise that in those situations, particularly if you hear reference to something like prepaid debit cards, gift cards, Zelle, Cash App, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, at the point where someone's trying to push you to pay them, we encourage you to hang up and to dial us at our 800 number, not the number that appears on your caller ID. The reason is because scammers can actually spoof numbers. So it's better to call the 800 number seen here than to redial in response. And you may also call the police and or your bank at the point where you feel that you've been scammed. By letting us know, we can then add this to our security log and be aware of these issues. We update these tips periodically. One motivation, or one reason that I'm happy to be here this evening is to present on gas safety. As you know, this year is the 10th anniversary of the East Harlem gas explosion. Really a sad occasion and a good reminder. If you look back at the news reports at the time, in the days following, there were people who said that they actually did smell something was off, but they weren't sure if they should report anything or they didn't want to inconvenience anyone. We much rather, as a general principle, you take the risk of inconveniencing someone than to let something like a potential gas leak go unnoticed. The signs of a gas leak are a smell that's very similar to rotten eggs, You might also see white clouds or bubbles in the water, blowing dust, dying plants, and any sort of roars, hisses, or whistles that sound unusual. These may all be signs of a gas leak. At that point, you should leave your if it's in your home or in your building, you should leave immediately and take anyone with you who's there. Um, or move far away from, so that you no longer smell anything. We would also advise you to call, but not until you're at a safe distance. This is because sometimes a cell phone, for example, might have static. We advise that you take the call away in that safe place. You can either call 911 or again our 800 number to notify us, and then we'll send a crew over in short order to check it out. I know personally this happened to me when I was living on 100th Street about about 6 years ago. And Con Edison responded very quickly. This was before I was employed by the company. Again, I just want to encourage everyone to let others know that if you smell gas, you should act immediately. We have some gas safety tips here as well. Burners should be turned completely off when you're done cooking or before leaving the house. Ovens and gas ranges. I know we're just past the winter season and the weather's starting to pick up again, but we strongly encourage people when we're out presenting in the community in the winter, please do not attempt to heat your home with an oven or gas range. It's very dangerous. The same with drying clothes. Pilot light should always be on. Keeping products that are flammable away from gas appliances is critical. Keeping kids away from these appliances is really important. And we also encourage people, even though the winter's past us, any sort of now is a good time in the spring if you're looking to have some of these systems, or if a landlord is thinking about updating these systems and keeping ventilation systems clean, we advise doing that. Electric safety, just a couple of points. Power strips are not meant to be used as a permanent solution. And they certainly should not be, or extension cords, I should say, are not meant as a permanent solution. Any larger appliances should really be plugged directly into the wall, like refrigerators or toaster ovens. And you certainly, if you are using an extension cord for an appliance, you shouldn't be using several, like seen in this photo. You don't want to overload the outlet. That could create a dangerous situation.
Which photo?
Additional, I'm sorry?
We can't see the photo, we only see the safety tips part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I think I've been advancing the slides, and it hasn't been advancing as I speak.
Oh, okay.
Now do you see it?
We can see it now.
Yeah.
I apologize. Thank you for calling out. I will send these slides also so that you can look along with these tips and share them and have them available.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. So
Excuse
you also
me, do you people or do you run in English? Is it bilingual or all in English? Your material.
this particular presentation is in English, but many of the tips are available on our website where they are translated to Spanish, and we are also in the process for electric safety of translating that into several other languages in the next year.
And what if you don't have a computer?
If you don't have a computer, we do have the electric safety brochure in Spanish. We can provide that if that's of use to the community. We could bring that to your offices if that's helpful to you. We could speak after.
Okay,
great. We also advise not charging a device under a pillow or on your bed or on a couch. Sort of speaks to the flammability point, but I know it's tempting when people are going to sleep. I don't know if you're like me. Sometimes you're looking at your phone and nodding off at the end of the day. Very important not to be keeping a device charged on or near a bed. We also here have ways to report an outage. Our record with outages tends to be pretty good, as well as restoration times, particularly in Manhattan. But in the event of an outage, you can either call our 800 number to report it. You can text this number, 688-243. You can text the word out, and then you'll receive a prompt to give updates. We have an online forum, and again, I'll share this PowerPoint slide for those who want access to that link. And on the Con Edison mobile app, for those who download that, there's also an option to report an outage through the app. Hazards that you can report include wires, broken or leaning utility poles, or trees leaning against poles or wires. We also, for seniors, we do have what's called a senior direct line. I'm sorry, did I skip ahead here? I believe I did. Yes, okay, so one more critical program. So for customers who have someone in the home with life support equipment, it's critical that we know about this. The company would not know because of HIPAA reasons off the bat whether a customer has this equipment in their home. The reason it's important for us is because during emergencies and particularly outages, the company will make outbound calls to ensure that customers who have life support equipment or who are termed medical emergency customers, that they are safe. We do make well calls to make sure, and if we can't get a hold of someone, we will notify NYPD in those emergency situations. So the way to let us know, we have a system called you can log in, create my account online, and there's a form. The link is here, coned.com/special services. Again, these are the types of forms that could be done with the help of, let's say, a caseworker or case manager, or independently by the customer. You can also call us at this number, 877-582-6633, or mail your completed registration form and medical certificate, as well as emailing the form to us over here. Lastly, for seniors in general, I just wanted to share this resource. We have a free helpline called our Senior Direct Line, open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The number is 1-800-404-9097. We have specially trained representatives who can speak about all manner of issues related to your account. With that, I will conclude the safety presentation, and thank you for your time, and we'll take questions.
Thank you, Adam. Do we have questions for Adam? Considering, we know that Con Edison isn't involved these days because you guys, last year, your rates went up almost 10%. This year, they went up 10%. You have 100% charge from consumption to delivery, so delivery charges 100%. But it is good because there is a lot of these unfortunate scams, and they're clearing out elderly people particularly. What Charlie mentioned about bilingual is important for us, and if you can get those flyers to us, we can distribute it to the necessary CBO. Yeah, the CBOs and things of that nature, because it is important, because that's who they're targeting. They're not targeting people on their cell phone, they're targeting people that are used to pay phones and used to certain things. So that would be great if you can send it here to the community board, and then we can distribute it accordingly. And then we could also distribute this to the community when you send it over to us.
That would be great, and we could also provide the scam awareness flyer is also bilingual front and back, so that may be of interest to the community as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don has a question?
Don has right.
Don?
Hi there. I was, thank you so much for the presentation. Did he leave?
Oh, still here. Sorry, I wasn't sure if they were calling on you next.
I can't tell. So at some point you were, Con Ed was distributing those gas detectors, I think, throughout the community. Will you have more of those at some point in the future, or was that just sort of like a limited initiative?
Yeah, I'll have to look into this. If I remember, if memory serves, I believe the natural gas detector program is not currently active in Manhattan. I will have to. So my answer is I don't believe so. If I find information to the contrary, I'll contact I guess Khalid and update that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you for being here with us. We appreciate it. And
Thank
if
you for your
get
time.
that, that'd be great.
Yes.
Okay, forward. We got a street co-naming, Ms. D Place on southeast corner, Fifth Avenue, East 107th Street. Do you know where this is at? D Place. Which is near, Charlie's Stomping Grounds.
Samuel, are you available?
Good afternoon, good evening to everyone. How are you?
Good,
Good.
how are you?
First and foremost, I want to say to Khalid and to the entire team, thank you so much for your dedicated ness to what I've been trying to do. Khalid, my hat goes off to you because you've been very informative. You've been very helpful. Mr. Angel, if you're on this line, thank you so much for what you've been doing. Ms. Jackson, who I admire a great deal, thank you. I've been on this meeting since it started. I did not know that Community Board 11 does so much. I am now willing to figure out how do I become a part of what you guys are doing. Wow.
We look forward to having you here.
Yeah.
We need more victims, I mean volunteers.
Okay, I'll victimize myself. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
All right, then let's, please, if you can give us your presentation, that'd be great.
So my mother, Denise, Miss D, Big Mama, Lady D, as the community has affectionately named her, was a woman par excellence. My mother died 14 years ago, October 25th, 2011, to be exact. She was the community. She was everything community stood for. I don't know if you guys remember that big blackout that we had some years ago. My mother cleared out her entire freezer, went downstairs, it was still light outside, and cooked out and fed the community. Everything in her freezer. She said it's not gonna be good come the next day because it's not gonna work. So let's go ahead and feed the entire community. My mother has been a foster parent for as long as I can remember. She was very active in church, both Eastward Missionary Baptist Church on 103rd Street and also Mount Nebo Baptist Church over on 114th and 7th Avenue. I feel at this point, after 14 years of my mother being gone from labor to reward, I do strongly believe that it is fitting for my mother's name to be on the corner of 107th Street and 5th Avenue, the southeast corner to be exact. Thank you, Khalid, for that. The southeast corner to be exact. I just feel like it's a fitting honor for a woman of her level.
Are you from Lakeview?
I was raised there, yes.
I see that you had 105, I think it was, signatures that you gathered.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 150.
I'm unable to see the whole, I wasn't unable to print out everything.
Okay, that's
Okay, technical difficulties.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, one.
Were most of these from the direct community or?
If they weren't, they would keep it out here.
yes.
Okay, do you have anything else to tell us, Mr. Moore?
Honestly, my one thing to say is that the community needs more people like my mother, where we actually just care and not do it for a pat on the back in a sense. Again, Miss Keoka Jackson, who is on this line. I admire that woman a great deal, because what she does is she goes above and beyond, and she doesn't do it for recognition. She just does it because she cares. And I look up to her a great deal. You know, when my mother died, I had to find a new role model. She became that. So again, I just find it very much fitting, for the street to be named, after my mother.
Do you have any letters from electeds in support?
I don't. I do. I'm awaiting a letter from Dr. Green, who is the pastor of the Mount Nebo Baptist Church, who sits on the Baptist Convention. He also sits on the National Action Network. He's just been very busy because he's been flying in and out of town for different conferences. But I'm still waiting on that one.
Have you approached the council person's office, on 116th, Diana Ayala's office?
I have not.
Okay, so I'll touch off base and I'll get you information. I'm passing by there tomorrow. So I'll put you in contact with the individuals in charge there. Just because it's good practice, we are a advisory board and from here it actually goes to her office. So it always makes sense to approach her office at the same time. Typically as we do, we settle things, we review things, and then we don't take a vote until at least a month later. So we'll definitely let you know when we'll be voting on it. The city council does street renaming twice a year. It's, and I believe they did the second one in February. But I will double check, which means that there may not necessarily be a great rush on it, but I'll get you the dates tomorrow. And
Okay.
we'll be.
Okay. I did mention to Khalid, when I was doing this, from the time that I was doing it, that I was looking to have a Love Day event in June, and that would be a part of what I was doing. So I'm not sure if that helps a little bit with trying to get, you know, votes and all of that stuff.
Honestly, not really, because there's a process behind it. Like, we send a letter out to city council, then city council has a process where they vote, and the votes are twice a year. I'm not saying that you can't have your Love Day, but the street renaming may not be in place for that time. So until we have more information, which I'll get for you tomorrow, I would, if your Love Day was, centered around the street renaming, I would suggest for you to wait. Because there is no guarantee, it doesn't really help in any form or any way. Because there's just simply a process that has to be followed.
Okay.
Alright, but we'll definitely be in touch and I'll reach out tomorrow. I'm actually going to her office tomorrow. And this will be one of the things amongst, DOT 128th Street and other things.
But thank you.
Alright, but then, yes, thank you so much for your presentation, and we will definitely be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Done. Close application. Oh, this is for us to give a,
Comment or no contest, and they need something by the end of this month. So if you guys can come up with a comment or no contest, then that'd be great. I'll just pull up this stuff right now.
I read through it.
This is for one of the
Well, we've always,
locations.
in this community board, we've always been in favor of open streets during the summer. It's good for the community, it's good for the kids, obviously it causes a little bit of traffic here and there, but.
But it's better to have some open streets
Of
than
course.
to have
They glow.
random streets.
And the streets that are being, are
Are
have a good distance from each other.
Have they done it in the past,
I'm sorry?
Have they done this in the past?
If they've done these open streets in the past,
Yeah.
I'm not aware. This is honestly my first time here in this office receiving these open streets.
115 for St. Pleasant.
I know there's been a lot of street fairs on these
123rd.
particular streets, but not actually closed just
Closed open
for
streets.
nothing.
So, if it's a street activity permit, I don't have access to that documentation right now, and it would take a while to like try to cross-reference. Like East 104th Street from Park Avenue,
Yeah, that's.
but,
What do you get?
this
Yeah,
is
but
the
they
first
get-
time I've been
yeah.
receiving these open street applications.
Okay.
Kilda has her hand raised.
101st Park in Lexington is uptown.
I'm
Grand
just
Central.
wondering, like Pleasant Avenue, the Cal had.
Yeah.
So a lot of these streets have been
I'm
used,
staying on.
but to have them actually open for a period of time, for just people just to hang out and just do whatever they wanna do, would be a helpful addition to our neighborhood. Okay.
Kilda
So
Jackson.
do we
and
need a
Raphael.
motion or do we need just a comment?
If you guys have a comment, or if you guys have no contests, we submit that to DOT.
I make a motion to accept, all of them accept.
Oh, wait, Kilka and Raphael have their hand raised, probably regarding this.
Kyoka,
So I had a quick question because when we were sent the agenda, there was gonna be a talk about the street closures, and I'm assuming this is the portion of street closures, is that correct?
Street closures occur with licenses and permits committee, Kilka.
we're
That's-
doing open streets.
Yeah, this is open streets, this is a
Totally
different.
different.
Okay,
So
um,
it's just like open streets for the entire, I believe it's programmed for the entire summer and they come. Particular, is it, let me see what days, is it It's Saturdays, most of these are Saturdays, Saturday, one is for a Friday. But in this committee, we're dealing with open streets, not necessarily like block parties, that's all licensing, that's a dance,
And that's on Monday, Kilka.
Monday.
okay, no, I understand. I'll definitely go to that meeting as well, but I do remember there was a time, and you know, I'm a little old, so forgive me, I don't remember things too often, but there was a time when community members felt there could possibly be public safety issue dealing with street closures, then we would present to you guys and someone would present to the license committee or whatever they're called. And I guess my only comment, and this probably won't go anywhere, but because I'll go to them and say the same thing, is that I think that we need to be cognizant of manpower when these things are being approved. Because you know, a lot of these street closures happen on the same day. And I don't think that anyone's paying attention to the fact that we don't have enough police officers to cover all of these events and still deal with the war that we're dealing with in East Harlem. We have a war happening right now. Is anyone paying attention to that?
Miss
So,
Miss Jackson, that
right.
sentiment.
I'm sorry, yes.
That sentiment still exists.
I'm
And that's the
sorry.
reason why when DOT approves this open street, it's sent to the community board in order for the community board to comment on a particular open street application. And that is the reason why we have sent throughout the city, way ahead of when this open street program begins, for the community board to comment on a particular open street instances. If the comment is negative, then DOT will reconsider. That is the reason why we send those letters to the department, to the transportation committee transportation committee, so they can see what we have done. And if there is any comments, whether it's positive or negative, to let us know so we can reconsider that. And I have not received anything from the transportation department, from the transportation committee regarding this application. So we have understood that it is okay to go ahead and provide that to the organization that have requested it.
So
Well, I
can we
wasn't
give-
talking about
give
this one.
On the record, we have 101st Street, Park Avenue to Lexington, and this is by Uptown Grand Central. This will be Saturdays from 12 to 8. So 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's in the 2-3. And then the 2-5, we have, first we have Fridays from 10 AM to 4 PM. That would be 123rd, from 2nd to 3rd, which is the Borinquen Health Center. Then there's 3 altogether, this is the 3rd. 115 between First and Pleasant, which is a Saturday from 9 to 9. And this is the community partner, and this one is Salsa Stories. And we do share your concerns, Kilka. Not so much for these, because these are like ongoing, they're only a few hours. They're very spaced out, so none of the precincts would be overlapping. They don't have any events don't overlap. One ends at 4, the other one begins at 5. They're in different precincts, but we do know that the concerns, because we've spoken to the 2-3 and the 2-5 regarding the tremendous amount of block parties and street closures and just every holiday. And obviously, there are a lot of contentions in regards to manpower and how much it affects the community, right? Because if we have a large concentration of officers there, then that means that we are lacking in other places. So we do share that, we appreciate that. But most of that will definitely be in the Monday meeting.
Licenses and permits.
Licensing and permits.
I will go to that as well, but just to respond to the gentleman that responded to me, I wasn't really speaking about the open streets. So I apologize if it was confused, but I will say about the open streets that there is nothing closer to Madison Avenue for these children over here. But I'll leave that alone. Y'all can battle that out. But
You would need a community partner to present something to DOT. The city's not doing it by itself. It's community partners and they go, so if there's something in Madison, we would have to work with a community partner around Madison. But we can talk about that offline.
And Kyoko, I'll be sure to iterate your concerns with my committee liaison for licenses and permits in terms of notifying NYPD about the street activities permits requests that they'll be reviewing, okay? So you're kept more in the loop.
If I may, the respective precincts have been also notified. So the letters that have been sent to you have also been sent to the NYPDs there.
Understood. Thank you, Raphael.
I'd just like to make a motion to approve 2 of them, because I sit on the board of one of them.
You would have to abstain. So you can make the motion, you can make a motion to abstain.
Then I'm saying the one.
And the one.
You can make the motion, and if you want to abstain, you can, well, actually, you making a motion kind of,
Yeah,
it'd probably be better if somebody else.
okay, I'm happy to make a motion, in support of all 3 open streets, what we call them, initiatives that has presented to the board.
Yes.
By the DOT.
Yes, by DOT, thank you. Anything further in this answer?
No,
And
3 is 123rd, 2nd and 3rd, 101 Lexington Park, and 115 Pleasant and First. Okay, so do we have a second?
It's all right, go ahead.
I will second.
Michelle will second. We're like that. Good.
Wow.
And then we'll vote on all 3, and Charlie will be abstaining on one of them, the Modiqua.
you're doing roll call vote?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Actually, we don't have to do roll call anymore.
It's up to you.
Yes, perfect.
But we have to.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
against?
Aye.
I abstain on one.
Okay, and Charlie abstains on 1, and anyone present not voting?
Carlos Diaz.
Anyone else abstaining? No, okay, so then the motion passes.
For, I'm sorry,
Borinquen.
Borinquen.
Neighborhood.
Wanda.
123rd,
Wanda's in favor as well. Thank you, Wanda.
I said aye.
Yes,
Oh, I got
I
it.
heard you.
That's why we said thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
So Jose,
Yes?
so
Rafael?
you have other comments about the others that you have not
We're in
approved?
favor. We're gonna send you
Well,
a in
thank you,
favor.
in favor.
Yes, please send it to me as soon as possible so I can shoot it up to the unit so they can reconsider.
Okay.
So,
Well, our full board, we can send you our motion as, by the next
After full board, which is the 23rd. So Raphael, I'll be able to, if the full board opts to ratify the committee's motion, then I can create correspondence and then send it to you the following business day, okay? Is that okay? The 24th?
Yes,
All right.
Sounds good.
And
yes.
by the way, Rafael, it is a little late or very timely. It's not that early. This is next month. It starts in May. But I like how you slid that in there, but you know, we kinda got you on point today.
I don't mind to be, with you guys.
This was, if it was January, you would have been early.
Yeah,
Maybe it was February, but not March or April. All right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
good night.
Well, no old business, and then, so we don't have to do a roll call for it, and we can just end. We are adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate you being here, taking the time. A beautiful night. It's a beautiful night. It is. Thank you. We get off record and off,
Have a good night, everyone.
good night.
Are we off paper?
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good one, guys. Bye, guys. Good night.